Before there's us, it's today's charity. More about it at the end of the video. So, if you don't know what this video are, this is a dumb idea. I'm a storytime channel. Now, it takes quite some time for me to make some stories, so it's kind of fill out the gap of make these dumb videos where I just talk about whatever I really want. So, theories and ideas and just dumb ideas I have and stuff like that in general. And I don't know what I'm saying throughout half of it, but if you want to watch it, go ahead. It's about simulation and reality shifting. Yeah. So yeah. Alright. So I remember recording this, but apparently it got deleted. Probably the gods deleted it because I was right. But next one, I don't know if I already said this before, but reality shifting or switching universe might be possible, but not in the way that you think. So if we go with the whole life is a simulation thing, if we go with the whole theory that life is a simulation, it would make sense for us to be in a server-like room with multiple simulations, because why would you just have one? When you can have multiple simulations of really the same reality but with different outcomes, or entirely different realities. But why would you only have one? Like, we're most likely in a server room with a bunch of others, and that means that in like a million years, in a long time when technology is fucking far advanced, we could probably jump from one server to another, kind of like a computer virus, if they're all connected, which they most likely are. If we go with our version of like if we go with like our server rooms, if you look at like what we have like server rooms, they're probably somewhat connected, or we can probably hop from one to another like a virus or Bluetooth or whatever, and then go to that other, which means that you can go from our reality to another reality. Both of them are simulated, which means none of them are real. We could also do a fucking Wreck-It Ralph and like go with like the power line, but I don't think that's gonna work. But in a million bajillion years, who knows, maybe we have the technology. But it would make sense, again, why would you only have one simulation? You would have multiple, probably in a server room, and they're probably connected somehow, so that means we can jump from one to another, like a computer virus or a whatever. Which means that you could, yes, technically shift realities, but you don't need magic. You need to hop from one server to another server. That is probably obviously. But again, you probably have multiple computers running multiple simulations, so we don't need to hop from one server. We can just go for like a computer virus, go into that computer and kind of like open a new browser or new tab, which would be a new universe. That means we can probably also create one somehow one day, because like opening a new one, maybe, I don't know if they have options for like a fucking Google Chrome, you can open a new one, but yeah. I swear I recorded this. I remember recording this, it was like 8 minutes long, but it's like the simulation people up there was like, yeah, it's gonna take that away. But there's also the thing that if it is a simulation, we're either at the bottom or we are at the top. Now at the top seems nice, but also boring. Like, I want to shift reality so bad. But there's also some other things, like they could, if we can, they can. So if they can go from one, gotta take my phones off because I'm sitting in a really uncomfortable place. But if we can go into theirs, they can go into ours. Now, let's say there is 100 different simulations, right? Let's just go with that. There's 100. There's probably a chance that one of them are much more advanced than we are and could potentially soon, and by soon I mean in like a 100,000 years, could go into our reality. Maybe they have, maybe they're somehow glitched into ours, or maybe they are, but they have to find us in the universe, because maybe it's not just us being simulated, it's the whole universe. They're simulating whole universes or whole galaxies, not just the planet Earth. Maybe they have some specifically just simulating the planet Earth and other planets, but they probably also have one simulating whole universes, because why would they just simulate us? Unless we're like some main character bullshit, which I mean, it's possible. Maybe they are humans like us and they want to test different things and just really push the limits, like maybe just for fun or for science to see what happens if you do this or that, or like a trial and error. If they want to do something, put it in simulation and see how that will go out, and then they can plan from there, which would make sense. So it could be whole universes, but it could also just be us as a human species, so like human beings, and they're just testing us. Maybe again for trial and error, we don't know. Maybe to see what would happen if they build a nuclear bomb. And we are the simulation to see what happened if they did it, and they have another one simulating if they didn't do it. And we could probably hop from one, again like a computer virus, from one to another server or one to another simulation. If they were connected, go to that one where it did not happen, where they didn't make the atomic bomb, which would make sense. So, yeah. It's a wild one, but I like it, and I feel like it is somewhat possible. Again, if you take into account like what we have, which is probably what they somewhat have. Now, it would make sense too to simulate whole universes, so they probably have multiple. But again, which one are we? Are we in the whole universe one, or are we in just the planet one, where they're just simulating the planet? And I feel like if you're simulating something, you would make people like your species, like humans. You would make them human. I don't know why an alien race would make a bunch of different versions of humans or other life and see how it does. Except for maybe if it's like boredom, which again is a completely possible thing. We talk to AI, we do stupid things and stupid experiments with AI and other things because we're bored. So again, we shouldn't throw that completely out of the way. But they're most likely human-like, because again, why would we, if we have the power to simulate them, and this is for some science shit, and we're in a different server room, which would cost a lot of money, why would we simulate a different alien species unless that would be to see how they would advance? Maybe that is why. But again, we don't know if that exists, but maybe we find something like, okay, how did they do it? But we might as well just ask them, so it wouldn't really matter. So they're most likely human-like. So the people who made the simulation are most likely human-like. Because they wanted probably to see what happened. This is a wild one, and I can keep going, because I can just keep going on this because I really love this topic. But yeah, I just want to say congratulations if you made it towards the end. That was something else. That's for sure. But today's charity is Better Health. It's placed. I'm not sponsored by the way. I gotta say that, otherwise I can probably get sued or whatever. But today's charity is Better Health. It's a place where you can just find somebody to talk to. If you're like me, you're probably on TikTok. Once 12 o'clock hits, you get those really sad ones. And if you feel like that one night, you should try it. It costs a bit of money, but compared to an actual therapist, it's much cheaper and it's anonymous. So in my opinion, it's good. In my opinion, it's better, and you might as well give it a shot if you're there. And of course, this licensed therapist, you're not just getting Dave from Home Depot. It's an actual person, and it's an actual therapist that's licensed. So yeah, and you might have seen it all over the place, but I just feel like it's a good thing.